Okay, 27A, you're 1029 at 11:06 hours. Hey there. Welcome to this month's edition of the MTFR Monthly Update. Chief Kane asked me to handle it this month, and we're coming to you from the new headquarters dispatch office. If you may have noticed, there's been some changes with the radio paging from LCWC, and Chief Kane would like me to say a few words about it. Starting on September 17th, you may have noticed that low band calls were no longer being received on the pagers. Last year, LCWC told all the fire departments, ambulances in the county that low band paging will no longer be used at the end of 2020. They came to us in early summer and asked MTFR to be one of the first departments to switch over to the new digital paging. They wanted us to try and do it first because we had a lot of tones that could be eliminated from the radio system, and we'd be a good test, seeing as we had multiple stations that needed to be done. So as I mentioned, September 17th, all the work was done to do that. Things have been tested, and everything's working really, really well. If you've been in the station since September 17th, you'll notice that the paging now uses voice announcements in all three stations, and we're using a digital pager in all three stations to get the tones from county radio and then a voice message. So far, feedback has been really, really good. The dispatches are very clear and the signal's strong. I have not taken any reports of missed calls. Some other things that we did with it, we are only getting one tone for the department for fire calls. So every station is alerted at the same time for every fire call. And then we did keep a separate QRS tone for all three stations. That way overnight, you're not being, all three stations aren't being woken up for the QRS call, since that's usually a single station response. We felt that one tone for fire calls wouldn't be that hard to handle, because on most fire calls in the township, 2, if not 3 stations are responding. If it's a 2-station call, by having the single tone, when 2 stations are out, the 3rd station will know it and can kind of listen up if they're needed for other calls, or to listen in case the call expands and becomes more serious. Just so you know, when the call does come out, I'll play a couple of sound bites here so you know what the fire call alert and the EMS call alert sound like. First one I'll play you is the fire call alert.
Fire call.
As you can see, it ramps up a little bit. Shouldn't be too hard on your nerves, especially at night.
EMS call.
And it's the second one was the EMS call. It says EMS, but of course that'll be for our QRS calls. The pagers, with the choices that we had for pagers were the unication pager and an alphanumeric pager. We are not assigning pagers to all members. The unication pagers, although they're a really cool product that do a lot of things, they're very expensive. So we are assigning officers and full-time personnel a digital pager. It does do the alphanumeric and does make a sound for an alert. They're a little different to get used to. They're smaller. Some people don't like having to read them, but they were a much cheaper option for the budget. Work on a regular AA battery, and depending on who we assign these to, we have different programs in so that you can shut off many of the different tones, so that when you're home and off duty, you don't have to be bothered by all the fire calls. Active 911 still works on the system, and if you prefer to use that on your phone, that works as it did before. You can pick and choose which call outs you want on that, or turn it off on off duty. If anybody's not been assigned a pager but is interested in one, they can talk to myself, and we'll see what we can do about it. And that's about it for the paging situation. We don't have a whole lot of other stuff to talk about this month. Chief Kane decided to let me just talk about a few other pieces. One is personnel. We just recently had the hiring process for the first MTFR fire marshal. That went very well. We made an offer to who we picked through the process yesterday, and we're waiting for him to return his letter accepting the position. We hope to have him started in late October. Entry-level firefighter testing was done. Also, we needed to create a new civil service list, so we're going through hiring for not hiring, but we're going through the list making for part-time and full-time positions. That's been ongoing through September, and the complete list will be ready after the final CPAT test this Saturday, October 3rd. Fleet issues. Truck 209 is currently at Glicks. It's having some of the fire damage that occurred to the ladder at the Hartman Station Road fire a month or two ago, having those repairs and some paint work done. And engine 207 will be going out this month for its annual inspection and yearly service. And the last thing, even though it's not as prevalent as it was, COVID's still an important thing going on here in the county. We want to remind everybody to keep using all the precautions that we put in place. Use your PPE on the calls, do the patient surveys, and we are still asking that everybody does the health screening at the beginning of the shift at 6 a.m. and at 6 p.m. so that we can keep everybody healthy and get you through quickly to all the healthcare facilities so you don't have to do the screening there. And that's all for now. Chief Kane will see you next month. Thanks.